What's up? What's up? What's up? Coach Bruce is live in the studio today, and I have a interesting topic to talk about: ADHD accountability. Do you allow yourself to be managed? This is an interesting conversation to me because I am one part of my ADHD relationship, but I also have an ADHD spouse, and I think that it's interesting because we both handle this differently. Um, Whenever I talk to my wife, I expect to get advice. I expect to hear feedback. That is most like partially why I'm talking to her because I respect her opinion and I like to hear what she thinks about things. I am I'm very open to that. But whenever she takes that to the next level and tells me what to do without me asking, I don't receive that very well. I tend to get a little irritable. I It's gotten better because it's something I'm aware of. Like I don't have a natural rebellion towards authority, but I do know that if somebody is telling me what to do and I don't feel like that is their position, I have a tendency to get a little sensitive. And I know that my emotional regulation can be a challenge at times, so I try to, as often as possible, take a step back and say, is this am I being bullied right now? Am I actually being bullied, or am I just being extra sensitive at the moment? And I find that a lot of the times I am just being extra sensitive. So I try to be aware of that, and it doesn't mean that I'm always going to handle it perfectly, but I would say 98% of the time I handle it much better because I'm being aware of that issue. Kate, on the other hand, doesn't doesn't really enjoy getting my opinion on things, and that it's hard because like I'm a life coach, I've been an instructor and a teacher in most of my positions, or a trainer of some sort. I like it gives me fulfillment to help other people improve themselves, and I'm often much better at giving advice than I am at taking it, which that says something about me. But once again, self-awareness is important, and I struggle with that because I want her to be the best version of herself. I want to help her grow, but accountability is about what you take for yourself. Being accountable cannot be done by someone for you. And I often want to do that. I want to make her accountable. And that's not a positive thing to do in a relationship. So as much as I want to do that, I can't. I can offer her ways to, increase her accountability or whatever, but what I have to realize, the reason why she doesn't want my outside pressure of accountability is because she is harder on herself than anybody else could be. Me adding something else into the mix is often just giving more fuel for the fire that's burning in her heart that is telling her that she's not doing it well enough. And that's not what I want to do. So I have to be mindful of that and know that I don't think that way. That's not what's going on in my head all the time. So whenever she has a great idea that helps me do something better, I tend to say, "Oh, that's helpful," because there's not so much noise up there all the time. There is sometimes, and that's whenever it doesn't feel great. I don't love it. But what I figured out helps a lot is for both of us is whenever we are able to use some sort of third party to deliver the information. Like for example, um, I do not want to be told every week to take out the trash because that's my job. I'm supposed to do that. Um, so whenever like I took on that responsibility and she'd ask me, "Hey, she'd ask me every week, did you take out the trash? Did you take out the trash? Did you take out the trash?" I would say like, I'm not yet, but I'm going to. But sometimes I'd miss it, and then she would feel, well, like, you wonder why I ask you all the time if you took all the trash. She had a point, but I also have my right to be an adult and not be told what to do all the time. So here's what I found to be easier. If we agree upon some sort of responsibility for me, I put it on my Outlook calendar. Take out the trash. Cook dinner on Tuesday and Thursday. Whatever. That way I get a reminder. It's not from her, so it's not feeling like nagging, because it's not, it's a reminder. And which, coming from my spouse, it usually is a reminder as well, but it feels like nagging because it's a human person, and you can assign emotion and feeling to that. Whenever you're getting it from a third party app or some sort of platform, you can't assign the emotion to that. It's just a thing that you agreed to because you put it in your calendar. So now it's a responsibility that you have to follow up and finish. And I've found that that has been really great for me because I need to be reminded of things, but I also need to have um, my independence and not feel like I'm being, pushed around. I know that she's not doing that, but we all know how the ADHD brain can lie to us and how it can feel at times like something that isn't happening is happening. So it's easier to, whenever possible, remove that interpersonal feedback, that noise that comes in and creates confusion, and just have, like, have an app do it. Or some people use like a chore calendar that, you put your name on a thing. Like for me, it doesn't, that type of thing doesn't help as much because it doesn't go with me. I don't, it's not always somewhere where I can see it. And if I didn't see it in the right proportion of time to whenever the thing needs to be done, then I'm likely to forget it. So for me, getting that reminder at a time whenever it's like, if I do this in the next hour, I'm gonna know that it's done. And it's helpful for me to do that. Forgot about my little birdie that my daughter asked me to carry. So that to me is just like a little relationship hack. Is, instead of arguing all the time over who's supposed to do what, just have a conversation agreeing upon certain things that you both think are good for you to do. You've decided that this is the division of labor or whatever, and then you use a third party to deliver those notifications, those reminders. So whenever it gets to the point where it hasn't been done, there's much more clarity about, nagging is taken off the table. It's like, well, you put it in your calendar, right? Yes. You were reminded, correct? Yes. And you still didn't do it, right? Yes. Okay. Well, this is obviously, you know, you need to take accountability for that. Don't beat yourself up about it, because I've talked about this. Like, getting down on yourself isn't going to make the problem any better. But being aware that you made a mistake, take accountability for it, apologize to whoever it affected, and say, okay, I'm gonna work better. I'm gonna try to pay closer attention to my notifications. I'm gonna try to change notifications to where it's at a time where I can, generally get it done, so I don't swipe it away and then forget about it. Like, that's another good tip, is like, as soon as you are reminded, go do the thing. That is probably the best ADHD advice I have ever gotten, is don't put it off. Whatever it is, just don't put it off. It was a video I saw, which was, as you're cooking, instead of putting everything down, like, you season with salt, you season with garlic, season with chili powder, whatever. By the end of it, you've got a bunch of stuff next to your stovetop, and you're thinking, well, I'll put it out all the way later. And you come back a week later and it's all still sitting there. So instead of putting it down, just put it away. Just handle the thing right there. It's like, you season with salt, put it back where it goes. You pull out the garlic powder, use it, put it back where it goes. The same goes for whenever the reminder comes up. Instead of like putting that reminder away for later, just go do the thing. Like, you put it in there, hopefully at a time to where it needs to be done. So then just go do it. Especially if you're not doing something else that's time sensitive, just put it on pause and just go do it. Be proactive, solve problems upstream that will be more stressful to you downstream. Like, I promise you, that always makes life easier. That is what I wanted to talk about today. I will wrap it up there. But if you struggle with talking about these kinds of things with your spouse, then I think that my ADHD communication course might be good for you. That is the 9 ways for the ADHD dad to radically improve communication. And right now, that comes with a free digital download of the Unmasking Your ADHD Blueprint, free access to the private community of ADHD dads, a free audio lesson called The Top 10 Hacks for the ADHD Dad to Thrive in the Workplace, free access to the Passion, Purpose, and Self-Acceptance video collection, and a free exclusive ADHD Dads t-shirt for just the cost of shipping and handling. And that link is going to be in the description. Please check that out. It is, I think, the best thing I can offer you to remove some of these extraneous arguments. we spend a lot of time stressing out, talking in circles, beating ourselves up, and creating false expectations just because we don't have clarity in thought and clarity in speech. You can create both of those things by creating a plan and using it to inform your decisions. And that's what my course helps you do. So that is it for today. Everybody, have a great evening. If you're a Cowboys fan, go finish watching the game. Go Cowboys. And for everybody else, please be yourself and love yourself. Bye.